And we are live, coming to you from the dirtiest South Winston-Salem. Uh, so what you're seeing, this is where I've been at all weekend. While I'm a little late tonight, I've been running around all weekend. This is my godson and his newly wife. They've been together for, I believe, 8 years through high school, college. Uh, yesterday was just a formality, more of a party, but I just wanted to congratulate him and love this kid. His dad, my best friend, passed away 11 years ago, and I'm his godfather, so I'm very proud of him and her. I got a goddaughter, and very happy for them. So I just wanted to speak on them and just give y'all a few minutes of why I might be a little tired and still a little emo. But other than that, glad to be here. What's happening, Maiko? How you doing?
Well, as usual, have a thousand things going on, incredibly busy. So I'm here though. I got a lot to take care of in the next hour or two, but I couldn't let my guy Big Scott 35 down, so I knew I had to find a way to pop on for a little bit. But congratulations on the family stuff, and glad to
Thank you.
hear you've gotten to spend some time, you know,
Yeah, I got
doing
to.
some important stuff.
Yeah, that part of that I haven't spent time with them in a while, catching up, and it was just nice. Disconnecting with uh, we were out in a western UVA-ish Charlottesville, if you're familiar with that area. Horse and wine country. We was an old stable where the park very a little bougie, but it was very very nice and beautiful beautiful country. It got cold though. My God, it was cold that afternoon.
Well, I even saw here tomorrow morning 6, 7 in the morning, 47 degrees.
Woo.
I mean, it's going to end up going up to, mid
Right.
70s, but we're getting to that part of the year. Like all of a sudden, you go from August to it hits September, and you're like, oh, it's really warm. It's September, fall's that close, and it starts coming on quick.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Battery Carlisle. Thank you, Joe, for the kind words. Yeah, that kid is he's great. He's humble. He's just a good kid and great wife. And it was fun time. It was nice to see their friend group. You know, at my age, the next generation down. It just reminded me and his me and his dad and our friend group at his wedding. It was nice to sit back and just relax and just chill. And there were open bars both nights. I was like, I don't drink, but I did have one drink in both one on last night. That was my first one in a long time. So, uh, but food was good, company was good, great weekend. Still had my phone out watching, catching up on the UVA scores and baseball scores. So I had a good night. Mets winning, Braves losing, UVA winning. Great, good night for me. So and the Diamondbacks lost yesterday. The
Not
Diamondbacks gonna.
tonight.
Yeah, I've been watching Verlander getting
I
hammered early.
Pavin Smith hit the grand slam, and then I think someone else had a hit, and then I was like, well, I guess I'll put on NBC and await the football game. So
Yeah, um, yeah, that's. I'm kind of waiting for that to come on too. We got like 7 minutes. My Cowboys look good today. I wish they would have scored more touchdowns than kicking so many field goals. It's just the way it goes sometimes. Your New England Patriots shocking the world a little bit today.
getting the big win. Definitely,
Yeah,
I thought they'd be in the game for sure, just because it's week one, anything can happen.
right.
They have enough returning defensive parts. I think they'll be, they might have a few tough games, but I think they'll be solid on defense overall. But things lined up for them. Of course, some of the receivers didn't play. Some of the receivers didn't really fully practice and stuff. So all that helped for sure. But they showed up and they kept it close. And the offense, listen, if the offense can run the ball and not make mistakes, they're gonna have an opportunity to win some games. So
Yeah,
good
yeah,
start to the season. I don't know how well the season will finish up, but hey,
right.
undefeated for at least a week.
That's right. Well, nobody wins the Super Bowl in week one. That's the old saying. But you get to see what you got. And, it was very interesting. If you watch college football, it was a very interesting weekend as well. Sorry for you Notre Dame fans, Reese. Sorry for you, bud. That was a tough loss, but it happens. But tonight we're gonna talk about playoff baseball and what it does to card prices and kickoff football. What that does to card prices. This time of year we have two different things going on. One's at the end of the season and one is at the beginning of the season, but they definitely manipulate the card price world. And what's your thoughts on that, Mike?
Well, I kind of feel like we're still in a little bit of, maybe it's just me, but things have been a little slower post national. And you would think like, oh, well, the national was a ways back at this point.
Right.
Over a month ago, 5-6 weeks. But you did have Fanatics Fest a week or two later. So you had all that going on, a lot going on in the hobby, and a lot of expensive releases eating up some of the funds. The return of Topps football has been pretty well received from what I've heard. I know the retail prices have been fairly pricey on it. The basketball is ridiculous. I mean, obviously,
Right.
it doesn't really affect you or I because neither of us really collect much basketball, and we're probably neither of us are spending $600 on a box of Topps Chrome unlicensed basketball, but that has been very popular in the hobby. So I don't know what the effects are, but a very noticeable. Not that I'm not having sales on eBay continuously. I mean, someone just bought 35 cards from me after I had everything pulled and ready to go. But it's kind of it's a noticeable slowdown on eBay. I've seen kind of the same effect on like live sales and stuff. So
Right. Well,
it's also getting up. As exciting as it is that football is coming back, and as
mhm.
exciting it is that baseball's rounding into these final few weeks. It's also kind of a it's a chaotic
Chaotic.
part of the year,
Yeah.
because you do have a segment of people who you have kids who are going back to school. You have older
Mhm.
kids who are going back to college or starting college. You have the parents who are kind of organizing stuff for kids, maybe sending their kids to college. There's just a lot going on. So I do think in the coming weeks, you'll see things kind of settle down.
Yeah.
As we get a few weeks into the NFL, as people get excited about certain players, as some guys have big games, and as we inch a little closer to the baseball playoffs, I think you will see a couple months of rebound. I certainly think the interest is there. It's just when there's a lot
Yeah.
going on.
Well, see, that's why I've been talking about value so much, is because there is, and I mean, even my topic was big enough for Carlos and him to actually spend a lot of time on their show this past week. I was going to invite him, but I've had a wild weekend because they've been touching on some of the same topics on their podcast. Uh, but, it's just this large gap between these higher end stuff that seems like the flipper world is in. And then the rest of us are down here where it's always been, the dollar, $20, $50 cards, what we usually, the collectors are collecting. And I feel like it's starting to have that little bit of shift and a little bit of a separation going on, because there's still some stupid prices out there on new cards. But the, with the, I'm going to put on my Victor hat for a minute, or his very nice hair. You talked about the football, and this is what I wanted to touch on. I'm confused. Do you think there's confusion out here right now in the market on what the rookie product or the product to buy for football or basketball, because neither one of them are they're football's what player, and then but they don't have team stuff on it, and then
So the product that came out, the Topps composite football,
right.
it's no logos, and the only active players. So there's 4 rookie cards in the product, and they have multiple. It's basically like a Panini Chronicles. There's 5,
Right.
6, 7 different designs in this product. Chrome, Topps, Allen and Ginter, various other archives, I think. But the only active players who are in the product are guys who have Panini autograph exclusives. Somehow they got them in. So Will Levis, quarterback of the Titans, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, and one other guy. They're in it. Everyone else is a retired player. There's no active players in it.
Right.
There's like for your Cowboys, there's Troy Aikman and a bunch of those types of guys. I know for New England, they made Brady, Bledsoe, Teddy Bruschi, some of the guys on the Super Bowl team, stuff like that. So that's what's in that product, and that is a 2023 product. It's obviously, like all this other stuff coming out ridiculously late.
Right.
2024 Score Football was supposed to release this week. Apparently, it comes out next week. So that should be a full slate of stuff. I think the Score release is collegiate uniforms for the rookie cards.
And that usually is, yeah.
But it usually comes out way earlier. It's coming out like with the season starting. Sometimes it comes out like a week after the draft. So.
They probably had to hold up for all the legal stuff. I mean,
yeah, I mean that might have that may have played a role, but
right. I mean the confusion right now with to me for football and the basketball, I don't follow the basketball, so that's my ignorance. But I am just football. I'll pick up some Cowboy stuff here and there, but I won't buy any packs or anything. But it's just confusing trying to figure out what's what. And I don't know who's buying the composite for the 4 rookies from last year, which to me don't mean anything right now. I mean,
I don't think any of them had autographs in the Panini product, so people are going crazy over some of the autos.
Right, I got you.
I think it's I bought 2 hobby boxes with the intention of opening. I pre-ordered them when they came out. They ended up selling out. I think that I paid $240 a box. They came in. I wanted to open one, but I looked and they were going for $375. And then like a few hours later, they're up to $400. I listed them for $450 and got like 10 different offers. And then someone just bought it outright. So I didn't open them because I just knew it just didn't make sense. Plus I had a lot going on. So I was going to have a hard time dispersing of some of them anyway. But I did a while ago order some retail, so I have some blaster boxes coming, so I'll be opening a few. I think they look neat. This cosmic chrome in it, Topps chrome black. Like, as someone who had fun in like the late 90s and early 2000s with some of the chrome and finest and all those types of products with football, I think it's neat to see it back. Obviously some cards look cool, some cards just don't look right with the logo-less stuff, but you can get away with it in football a little more than basketball.
Well,
but I do agree the prices are kind of outrageous. I think it's a fun little product at retail prices, but the prices this stuff's selling for is crazy.
I did buy 2 blasters Saturday. Was it Saturday? I don't know. This weekend was a blur to me. I found at a Target in my hometown. They had it looked like I was back to 2015. I mean, it was a wall full of product. I was shocked. So they had my Star Wars Chrome blasters in there. So I bought 2 of them. I was so happy to see them because I never thought I'd find them.
I wonder how long they lasted. I mean, I don't know what your area is like, but it still gets good stuff will get cleaned out fairly quick still in my area.
They had Bowman Mega, just rows of it.
Yeah, the Bowman Megas aren't selling well. They destroyed that product because it used to only be $14.99 and then $19.99. Now it's like $49.99, and there's just so
Right.
little value to it that those
Right.
are pretty easy to
Let,
find for
let me
sure.
tell you, they had so much Series 1 and Series 2. They had it in 3 different places in their store full of shelves. They had it in the front. I don't know where your local Target how they have it. Most Targets now have it back near the collectibles.
Most of the
This
ones out
Target,
here still have them. They still have the spot up front.
okay, this one has it up front. But then they had it in the toy section, and then they had them back in the collectible section. I was like, oh my God. Just full of Series 1, Series 2. None of that is good at current. Yeah, uh, Eric, you're right, because the breakdown now for what's in the packaging, I've talked about this last week. It You used to get some color, every pack. Now it's 1 or 2 in a pack. It's almost all base. So 100%. Star Wars, though, let me see if I have one near me. By the way, fun thing that I bought off of eBay. Did not have that for Gary Carter cards. Uh, they had the Red Wave, and so I got like 5 of these out of a or 4 of these out of a blaster. So, things like that. They had cool inserts and refractors. So every pack had something in it. So that felt like old school, like opening up baseball product. Let's see. If they can't show the team logos, do they have to make their relics with practice jerseys? That's a good point. Top Chrome MLB blasters for $40 plus taxes. I said, yeah, and unless things go up, I have an understanding of that. But when they go up and you give you less, that's when the real sin is at. And I agree with you with that, Eric. That the $40, even at the old standard, where you got actually some color and refractors and prism or whatever they call them now, blocks. I don't know. Minecraft. I don't know what they're calling them.
Minecraft refractors, don't say that out loud because we'll get that bullshit.
Well, you call them blocks. I mean, I like my video games. I don't like Minecraft, but anyway, and then you jack them up $10, and then you put more base and less hits or inserts or whatever you want to call them. It's just really crazy to me. Yeah, and you're right. In most places, that's why I was shocked. This in my hometown, it's a pretty big Target. It's bigger than most Targets I think I've ever been. I think it's been the biggest Target I've been in. It's a college on one side of my town and a very big Army base on the other side of the town. We have one of the biggest Walmarts on the East Coast. It's just very big. The Walmart didn't have crap in it, but the Target, I don't know if they just came in and filled it right before I walked in, and timing is everything. But I was shocked to see what was in there. And they had Chrome in there as well, just not a lot of it. And like I said, Series 1, Series 2 was everywhere. I was also looking for any hockey for this year just to take a shot at Bedard. They did not, of course, but they had last year's hockey sitting there for sale. But so with the crate, I'm looking for the score product to be crazily overpriced, even coming out the box.
Yeah, score nowadays. I think they're $250 a hobby box or something. A few years ago they went up. They made them basically in the jumbo boxes. So you probably get 400 cards, 4 or 5 autographs, all that kind of nonsense. But
and it had, like you said, the rookies are in college uniform. There's a lot of free agents and stuff like that didn't get drafted in that product. Amari thinks they're going to fall dramatically. We've been saying that for years. I mean, I don't know. I think football and basketball, it is what it is. Baseball is where it's at. It's like,
I
I
mean,
would
the
say
problem with the
40
retail,
$50 more than what they were at a standard price.
one of the big
Uh,
problems with the retail prices now and why Fanatics
yeah,
has been able to continue to increase this, SRP on these, just regular releases in your Walmart's, Targets, Fanatics website is because so many people did come into the hobby in 2020 and like these prices are normal prices,
right,
because they came in and they couldn't get the damn things in the store for $20-$25. They were buying
right.
them for 50-60 online. So it's like, even though we know, experienced collectors know it's fairly ridiculous and fairly overpriced, there's still a high segment of people. And then there's other people who just have that compulsive, gambling that can't help themselves as
Right.
well.
And I
So,
think we all said that when we saw the prices going up. We were like, oh, they have to come down, and they just came down somewhere in the middle for baseball. Because I think, and I'm not trying to put down, because I think more of the newer hobbyists came in under the basketball, football, and the baseball is more of us older guys that got a good handle on the hobby. We just wasn't, we're not duped into the FOMO as hard as basketball and football. It seems that's my very bad opinion, probably, but uh, that's the way it looks like. But baseball still, it's gone up so much and you get so little that I have stopped. The entertainment value is gone for me. I'm just waiting for other people to open it. But my problem is now we're collecting the wax and nobody, it seems less and less is getting opened and that the wax is being sold. And I can't blame them because once you open it, the value instantly drops. So that's where we're at right now with that. To me, that's my feeling. I don't know how you feel about that, Mike. But
I mean, it's kind of what has happened.
yeah,
You have
it's
far
collectors
less,
and
there's far less. So for years and years and years and years and years, like a long time, longer than most people realize, you obviously had some big dealers. You had people, you've got people, there's people I buy stuff from at shows. Family, they basically open a case or two, probably a couple cases of, say, uh, regular top series 1, 2 standard products, but other stuff, they'll open a case of almost everything. They set up at shows every weekend. They literally old school sort all the cards in number order, have them in binders, then have all the inserts, and obviously it hits in the showcases, and boom, they sell through it. They still have customers who come and either put together sets or finish off sets, and they buy all that stuff, and that's what they've done. I think they probably do a little more online now. There were always people who did that, but I think the main group of sellers for a long time, because it's no different now. You hear now, there's a lot of talk about people selling this and that. Like, I think a high percentage of people have always sold some stuff, specifically in people who are opening new product. It didn't make them dealers. It didn't mean they were flipping stuff, but people would open a box or a couple boxes and they'd be chasing whatever they're chasing. Maybe the rookies, maybe they like the retired guys, maybe they just collect it, their favorite team, whether it was the Brewers, the Phillies, the Yankees, whoever. And then they would put up some of the other singles for sale, some other stuff, because
right,
it just helped pay for the pro. It helped. Maybe you spent $300 to open stuff, you kept a high percentage of the stuff, and then you sold off $50 or $100 worth of stuff. Well, that's not happening. You don't have casual sellers anymore for multiple reasons.
right,
One, the government's made it a little more difficult and they've used scare tactics because you can definitely plan things out. But the reality is, most people are just doing it casually, and they're going to sell 1,000, 2,000, $3,000 worth of stuff. It's a hobby. It's not a business, but they've made it more difficult with all the rules with reporting and sending all that stuff out. Like, my opinion is the amount that they set, which still hasn't technically been enforced, it's been pushed back multiple years, is ridiculously low. It makes no sense. People can argue that, but I think if you just have a standard kid, let's just say a kid is in college, has a PlayStation and a few games, if they sell something like that, they shouldn't be getting tax forms, even though technically it would be no profit. So they wouldn't owe anything on it. It's still just a hassle. do not underestimate how much of a role that's played in having people cut back selling stuff. And just as casual sellers, not people who are trying to, obviously there's people undermining the system, and I understand there's reasons for it. There's people who are, selling much more, trying to get away with stuff. But the reality is most people are casual. It's going to scare off a lot of casual people who would put some stuff up for sale. That's
a great point, Mike. It is. I used to go to a show up in Minnesota that was basically, that's all it was. And I would always hit the same dealer because he would open up whatever the newest case of it, at least, or if not more. And I would get the cards out of it. He was my original Maiko, I'd get the set and then all the players I want out of it at a reasonable price. I wonder how that show is doing, because that was actually a collector's club and not a seller's club that put that on. And, if anybody is up in, I know Stoops goes to that some, and Amish Dave. If y'all know anything about that show, please let me know. But go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you were making a great point.
No, and I was just going to say the other big reason is the expense of the product. I mean, of course, less people, someone like you who, would put some stuff up for sale, I'm sure. I mean, you kept the majority of it, but I mean, the commons you're listing on something like Sport Lots or whatever cards you're listing are going to be mostly things you've found in boxes for that's been sitting there for 5-10 years. You're not putting up new stuff because you're not opening the products, because nowadays a box of Topps Chrome, instead of costing $80 or $100 or even $120, and you getting some stuff in it, it's now costing $250 for a Nick Castellanos green parallel that goes for $2 on eBay. And then when you list it for $2 on eBay, some cheap son of a bitch offers you 99 cents right away. Like, that's the reality of it. Like, it's and I don't blame people for trying to get deals, but like, you get nothing out of the products and they're so expensive. So of course people are going to list less of them. So now you have some of the big people listing it, and you'll have some people, but it makes it harder to get singles. Like, I haven't chased a whole lot of things from this year, but certain stuff, like, you look up and it's like, you're like, all right, this is a gold refractor. It's numbered to 50. Where the hell are they all? Looking for some Bryce Harpers, and I've seen like 4 of them listed out of the product that's been out for 6 months, because a lot of them are either not being sold or they're sitting in a pack in a box, either waiting to be sold because the product's so expensive, or someone being afraid to open it because, like you said, they're like, all right, well, now I'm going to take a beating on it.
Right, because it's really setting it up more and more for the breakers. And, and that's fine. I've always used breakers. I think there's always been a place for breakers, but I think it's even going to be a bigger place for breakers now, because they're going to be the only ones to afford it and to pass that on instantly to people that are going to help break it. Now, I only do the breaks that I get all cards, only I know what price
the no cards ship, or only cards over a certain price ship guys should be arrested. But
if I'm helping fan, I want my cards, right? I never understood that concept, but people buy into those. And that's, I look all the time and I try to steal one or two. And when I feel like I say that, but I feel like I'm paying a reasonable price where somebody else is paying. I feel like grossly overpaying. I saw the Pete Alonso Pristine that I was in, and that thing went about 6 times more than I was willing to pay. And
that's a tough product too, because in a full case, you you might be lucky to even get a base card. That's a huge set. It's like a 300 card set.
Yes, and there's just not. I was like, there's no way. So let's see what we got over here. Eric is really, I love this, Eric. Thank you so much. Well said about the player, lack of player parallels, Mike. And then we have that demand MVP buyback program. Yeah. Is that making people actually buy the product? Is that buyback program? Do you think it's driving sales at all? I'm still looking for.
I don't think it hurts, but I I think I opened. What the hell did I open?
I
Oh, it was a
think
couple
it. I
mega
think what it
boxes, and
does
I
is
and I
grab
didn't
up the
get
breakers.
I didn't get
You
any
know,
Otanis or Judges.
right? I think it really drops up the Dodgers and Yankees prices and breakers spots. I'm still looking for a 2022 TC Gold refractor Judge Topps Chrome. Yeah, man, I am still. I've said it before for 2018. A couple of things for Pete, but I've just now. If I run across them, I'll run across them. I kind of written them off, and now looking for some other stuff. Now I'm looking for newer Gary Carter stuff that I usually don't look for because I like plain day stuff. But I showed
Start to run
his
out of the
first.
playing day stuff
Yeah,
eventually.
so I found this right here. It's the complete box of the fun meal from Burger Chef. If anybody's old enough to remember Burger Chef days, this has got the Gary Carter. It's the whole Expos team on the box here. I thought that was really cool. It's in a minty, never folded and put together type of thing there, and I got those type of things. Got it very cheap, and yeah, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with it, but really love it. I had a Burger Chef from where I was born up to the time I was 4, not too far from me. I've never seen those in a full sheet form. Yeah, it's not, and it's not a sheet, Eric. It's actually the box that the meal came in. So you got the flaps. It even got a couple of the mascots on either side.
I have
Yeah, it's
something like that. I actually just picked up
beautiful.
in a big group of stuff. It's not that specific one.
Right.
It's probably not in as nice a shape as yours. I'm sure it's a different company, but they're pretty
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah, not punched. It was minty fresh. I got it in an auction for next to nothing, man, and very happy to have that in my collection. Playoffs, Amari. Yeah. So right now, Mike, we got the rundown to the playoffs where the games right now. I'm watching the Diamondbacks because me and my dad have been talking where the Diamondbacks, they're gonna watch out. They're gonna let the Mets and the Braves pass them. But they're handling business tonight. My man Pavin Smith hit a banger.
2 home
UVA.
runs in the first 3 innings, right? I think he had
Yeah,
a 3-run shot and a slam.
yeah. Pavin coming to his own. Him and McCarthy's actually having a very good second half of the season. Both UVA grads. I have that as a whole meal. The burger is rancid now. Got you. The burger might have been rancid then, even though I love some Burger Chef. They were like they had the glasses back in the day, like Burger King and all that stuff. The icy. I remember that was the first place where I got the icy. They had the big snowman and all that in there as a little kid. Uh, but yeah, that was cool. But Mike, leading up, we have some big players doing big things, and they're actually going to be in the playoffs. Otani actually going to be in the playoffs. Judge,
See
of
what
course.
happens when you get out of Anaheim?
Yeah. I didn't want to go there. We got, Screwball's not going to make the playoffs, but, he's still being big at this time of the year. Now, with Screwball, I know he's a pitcher. I haven't really heard much buzz about him in our hobby this year.
I've sold
Have
quite
you
a
heard?
few. I've sold quite a few of his rookie cards. I mean, granted, they're listed for $2 and $3, like Ginter Chrome, and he was in something
Right.
else, Platinum Anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
So I've actually had a few of his things selling, but I mean, again, he's a pitcher, so there's definitely some people collecting him, but they're cheaper things. I don't think his bigger cards are probably going for crazy prices. There may be asking prices that are pretty high, but I don't know how well they're moving.
So, like, now somebody like Austin Riley gets into the playoffs this year, or Olson that kind of got looked over last year for whatever reason a little bit, and they make some noise. Do they finally get some love in our hobby, or you think it's too late for him, kind of like a Goldschmidt and Arenado, or
I mean, they
type
would
of
have to
thing?
go absolutely crazy, I would think. I mean, Olsen, I think, might have sold a little better back when he was an athletic, to be honest. There was this point where his rookies were doing pretty well, but
Yeah,
there's so
but it
many
kind of
good
went.
players in Atlanta that's kind of hurts them a little bit, like
Yeah,
hobby
no,
wise.
my reason is with Acuna being hurt, you still got Michael Harrison, who's just phenomenal in the outfield. It makes them play at bat. If they make any noise in the playoffs, they're going to have to be the guys really making the noise. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. Especially on Riley's side. I don't know if battery
I
can.
mean, he's got to get healthy and be ready to go. It's going to be, I think, a challenge for him.
Yeah, I mean Devers. That's like Port Devers is. They're not Boston's not going to go anywhere, but that's great points. It's just weird how our hobby just picks and chooses some
Yeah, I
players.
mean,
Ozzy Albies will be back. Ozzy's a guy, that got kind of passed over during our CUNY days. I don't know what he has to do to get some hobby love that he rightfully deserves there. Raleigh won't be available till after regular season, right? Uh, so they just picked up somebody else, right? This week or yesterday, today, I don't
yeah,
know.
they're claiming someone on waivers just about daily
Yeah.
at this point with the injuries they've had to put up
Well,
with.
I was watching some of the highlights, and it was like 3 guys they picked up off of other teams' trash heaps had RBIs the other night, and I'm just like, Jesus. Even our backups are breaking bones now. Merrifield's out now with a fracture. Yeah, and he knocked in a run, didn't he, the other night? Him, Kellenic, and their new third baseman, right? They got from the Padres or whatever, had pretty good nights. I was like, it's just something about the water in Atlanta, man. You go there and you become
You get hypnotized and you sign a contract well below value, and then you somehow perform unbelievably well.
well, and it's not like I'm not looking for them to be an all-star. I just want them to be an everyday MLBer and contribute. And it just seems like that's what they get, plus a little bit more. I mean, what's his face in the outfield last year? Now he's gone away, and he really not the same guy. And I know everybody knows, what's his face? You just want to sell them? No, no, I do have them for sale. But my question is, Eric, it always comes down to that when us guys talk about certain people's that are not being really talked about, right? Everybody wants to know what our alternative motive is. And here's my alternative motive. I love baseball and the stars that play it. And I think some of them don't get the love. Eddie Rosario, thank you, Omari. And Eric, you talk about it as well on your channel, and guys that don't get the love that they necessarily should
Baseball
get.
good and hobby good. Those back pages.
Two big differences in this world. And it's hard for people. Baseball is the best. It's just hard for people outside the hobby. They'll ask you, "Oh, do you have Goldschmidt or Arenado?" And you just tell them, "Well, the rookie card does okay, but they don't really do all that." And it's hard for somebody to believe that. It's just the way it is. Just some guys, Devers, same way. I wish Devers would sell because I got a pile of them. I am just, for one, I've been talking about just trying to get down to my narrow PC and when I say narrow to other people, it's probably huge, but for me, it'll be a third of my PC now is a third of what my collection used to be. Because the rest of collection was just cards that I picked up, and I thought that's what we did. I was in the 80s mode of still picking up cards and just putting them in boxes in my order, and that's how it was. Atlanta has a great team culture. When people join the team, the leaders have already reached out before they reach the locker room. Really? Okay, I didn't know that. I knew they had a great chemistry. I knew they had a great locker room. I didn't know the leaders would reach out already. Disc golf? No, I don't know about disc golf, but I know a lot of towns in the Midwest have disc golf courses. Let's see. Yeah, the what was the team they were talking about this week? Oh, Tommy Pham going to the Royals, talking about because he went to the Diamondbacks last year, and they said how he energized the players there and all that, and he's doing that with the Royals right now. They have trading cards. I didn't know that. That Tommy Pham is there. That locker room is so young and vibrant. It feels like he's back with because he didn't like it in New York, so because he probably could have had a chance to be back there this year. But yeah, I hope the Royals make another great player, Bobby Witt. I wish their first baseman wasn't hurt because he's such a crowd favorite and a good player, good guy. It sucks that he's hurt again.
Plus, killing my fantasy team in a run to the playoffs, losing his production at first base.
Oh, you had him. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
But Bobby Baseball, he's a guy that needs to be in the playoffs for baseball, I think.
I feel pretty good about them making it. And honestly, I wouldn't necessarily count them out. They won't be someone who gets a team that gets a lot of attention going in, but like they get a pretty good pitching staff, and they can hit. I've been watching a lot of them this year.
And they score without hitting home runs. That's
they had a big win against the Twins yesterday. I was watching that game.
I've been talking about that for 3 years now, and teams that could score without hitting home runs in the playoffs do so much better and have long bullpens and use all their pitching staff, Mike, and in key situations. They don't have
try and get
in their back.
Yeah. Well, that might be what cements the Orioles' fate.
Yeah. Well, the Orioles right now, they're not scoring for whatever reason, so they're in some trouble going in. Selling me and my dad's show for tomorrow. I talk about it on there. I feel like the thing to watch now in the next few weeks is who's going into a playoffs on a high note, right? Who's going on this trajectory, not just gliding in or not having a good last couple of weeks, because that seemed to be a thing last year. And then those teams that go in kind of flattening out and have a week off, it's even worse. So that's something I'm looking at. And you need a lockdown 2 pitchers for post. Exactly. You need 2 pitchers, and in the third day, you hope to get a quality start and some runs scored, because they're going to have to start their third pitcher too on the third day. So I think the Royals have that. Lugo has been a man for him. He's done
they
well.
They don't have the household names that
right
a casual fan is going to recognize. Listen, they could get in and be out after 2 games or 3 games. Exactly. It's certainly possible. But, I'm going to be honest, I feel like most people would be beyond shocked if they reached the World Series. And I would be surprised, but I wouldn't be shocked. I'll put it that way.
Not a shock. I was shocked with what I saw last year. We're going to see a repeat of that. It's very possible. The Rangers showed you what 2 pitchers can do getting hot at the right time last year, to get their shit together at the right time, and it worked for them. And it had great hitting, so that was great, and it showed there. I mean, they had Jace Young cards sold pretty good, but now Evan Carter, he got hurt this year, and his stuff didn't have the greatest season, and his stuff to me really I haven't seen a lot or heard a lot of him in our hobby this year.
No, his career is basically over in the hobby world. People forget People forget he even ever played at
And
this
and
point.
that's and I hope Eric is still here and Carlisle, some of us older guys, Henry.
Who you calling
Is
old?
it not you? Um, so, but you've watched a lot of baseball. You can answer this too, especially hobby wise. Does that feel like a new thing to you? Where here one year and gone the next? Uh, like when I was growing up, a teenager and stuff, in the hobby, we were still looking for the all stars. Like you didn't have to have a great rookie year to be an all star and to be a great player and still want to be collected. Is that something that's kind of like a new thing to the hot newer, not new? But if they're not hot, because we talked about it before. Greg Jeffries, people want to dog him, but he actually had an all-star career. He actually was above average baseball player. It
Yeah,
was
he
not
just
Hall of Fame.
didn't
He's
live
not
up to the
higher
hype
number
that he
anywhere.
was given. But
Right. So is that
there's a
something
big
that
difference between Jerome Walton and Greg Jeffries. I'll put it that way.
right, and exactly right. And there's been a lot of busts and yeah, second and even third year cards where they're bombed back in the day. That's what I'm talking about. Like I I remember the cello packs hanging at the local 7-Eleven, and that first card being like the glossy all-star card, and you wanted to see who that was because that was our insert right at that time. And then you looked on the back and the front to see if it was like Don Mattingly in '88. It didn't have to be '83. Wade Boggs, Ky Ripken. You wanted to see who was on there, and that's people today would rather collect people with potential than people with a portfolio. Yeah, I get that. Um,
It is pretty frightening
got you, Carlisle.
how many 17, 18, and 19-year-old guys who have zero major league at bats,
I saw that.
sell
Eric.
for $400, $500, $600 in comparisons to guys who are actually, prominent players.
Yeah, I posted some Weir's cards on Twitter the other day, and someone asked me why I would collect them. Well, he was pretty good. Not the guy that everybody wanted until later. We got a little older, but he had injuries early on. He was a bigger guy. He had injuries. They probably would have moved him from behind the plate, or at least tried to now. Like they're going to do Adley Rushman. I don't see him catching too much longer. So that's just, it's a different time and era. I just, to me, how fast the hobby moves away from a guy now is.
Well, I feel like that's
crazy.
kind of society's gone that way a little bit too. With music, I mean, artists are forgotten right away, and movies and TV series, and even the news cycle. Monster story will happen, and a week or two later, it's like it never happened. People forget about it.
Right. Yeah, that's. I wish we did that with other things. We have some long memories when we want to have them, but uh, it's some things like, I'm sitting there watching the Singleton kid for the Astros the other night hitting, and them talking about his ups and downs and all of that. And, I remember his daddy playing, and it was, it's nice to see him back in the majors for the second year in a row, and looks like he's got his demons at the moment at bay. And I remember when the hype was about him when he came up, and I just I would I would pick up a card of him today if it fit my PC. Let's see. Look at Justin Upton's career. Good MLB. The kids everyone is chasing now would be lucky to have a career like exactly. And somebody I collect Cliff Floyd cards. I love Cliff Floyd. He's another Expo Met guy.
Do have a
I
thing
like.
for those Expos Mets guys.
Yeah, I
Prediction.
always. What's
The
that?
Expos become an expansion team, and your boy Alonso becomes an Expo someday. That'd
I
probably
would
make you
love that.
happy.
I would probably go to Montreal and watch a game. There are definitely people Justin Upton career. And he went to the Angels, was quiet out there, kind of forgotten about. But yes, very, very good career was Justin. Also from Virginia. Um, he grew up with David Wright. They all played him, Reynolds. Who else was on that? They had a traveling team. They were all play together, and Upton's dad coached them. Used to throw bottle caps and hit it with a broomstick. That's how they learned how to hit. Let's see, battery as an aside, you can pick up a PSA 1088 Fleer Greg Jeffries card for $72. Okay. 1992 Bowman Floyd is epic. Yep. I believe I have that one. BJ Upton. Yep. Melvin. You call him BJ, I'll call him Melvin.
Didn't he change
Longoria.
back or something?
He might have.
He changed his name a couple times, I think.
I don't know. What's your mama call you? Because that's what I'm going to call you. Should have invited Carlos. Eric could have paid for the like. But yeah, Zach, I was. I've had if you watch the game, a crazy weekend. I had to go up to Virginia. Stopped at my dad's for a day, and I had to. Okay, I'm not a smart man. I thought I was getting a hotel room for Friday night, Saturday. I got it for Saturday, Sunday. So I had to go to the rehearsal dinner and then drive an hour and a half back to my dad's and then drive back an hour and a half. Please don't judge me. So I got to know the road between my dad's house in Charlottesville pretty well. Oh, he's dunking on an NJ. Yeah, because he did play college hoops too. I think he is dunking like NJ on the. Okay, I have to look for that one. I don't think I have that one. I was thinking of which score. Yeah, I think I'm thinking of the draft pick card of him with score. I have to look because I have it graded. I have them graded. I love some Cliff Floyd. So yeah, I had something else on my mind, and
someone bought a Trevor Bauer card on eBay, so I might have discovered Ed's burner account on eBay because I can't think of anyone else on earth who'd be buying Trevor Bauer's.
It isn't his Mexico pitching card? Is it All Star card?
No, it's a random Topps Gold label card from 2001. One of the parallels.
I think he's getting blackballed pretty bad. I can't believe with all the people that need pitching, nobody, especially the Orioles, he would have came for $500,000 to pitch one season. I think I would have took a swing at it. I don't know.
Well, you would think it would make sense. You would think even someone, I don't know, like Tampa Bay or someone who needs some level of attention. Like, who cares? Like,
right?
Is it going to be that much of a distraction? Like,
Marlins would have might have sold some tickets if they would have had him there.
Yeah, or at least gotten some sort of social media attention of some sort. Like,
yeah,
it's bad when like one of your top 5 most popular players is Chuck Carr, who hasn't played on your team in 20 years, nor could he play baseball that well. Like, I mean, that organization, travesty that they have 2 world championships.
Yeah, that it should be stripped of everything. Tear the building down and build a movie cinema place or something. I don't. Yeah, they should get rid of that place that they call a baseball ballpark. What else you got for us tonight, Mike? We didn't really talk much about document, but we never usually do. It kind of goes off the rails, but
yeah, we didn't even mention the NFL being back. Which
the NFL for me,
it's cool that it's back. I think this is where you're going with it to a degree too. Like, I watched some of the games today. I definitely had them on, especially when the Phillies got behind 10-0 very early in the game. Somehow to those Marlins, I was like, all right, well, I think I'll focus on the football games a little more. Right. But I'm always happy football's back. But as a huge baseball guy, like the NFL really, I focus all my attention on the NFL once the final out of the World Series happens. Obviously, as the games wind down the regular season, there's less baseball games. I'm still going to watch the games, but I'm not someone who's like, oh my God, I can't. I guess maybe it's a baseball first thing. Maybe it's just the way I grew up. Like baseball season, the beginning of baseball season was always so exciting because you were getting out of winter as a Northeast person. Spring was coming. You were looking for warm weather. And baseball season to me is a much greater season than the football season. That doesn't mean I don't love football, but football is like a weekly, usually a 1 day a week kind of event. And I have fun watching it with family and stuff too. Once you get to the holidays, Thanksgiving, and
Right.
beyond that, in the postseason. But like this part of the year to me has always been very hectic. Both with in your youth, you're getting ready to go back to school and all that stuff. That's kind of what it means. And then after that, like I don't know, I've just always been involved in whether I was working in sports or working in other areas. It was always like once you got to these September, October, November, that latter part of the year, it was so busy. So all football means is chaos in terms of sports because I'm a two-sport guy. Like I don't very mildly watch hockey and basketball stuff. Like I'm kind of aware of what's going on, but I'll put it this way: if the Flyers, Sixers, if they picked up and moved tomorrow, it affects me in no way, shape, or form. I wouldn't even be remotely upset. So like it's chaos in terms of watching sport. Like a day like today, there was too much stuff on. There were 15 baseball games and a whole bunch of football games. And then in life, there's a lot going on. So it just brings chaos. So I don't know.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
kind of that was a very long-winded
I
answer, but like
my
I'm happy football's here, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, excited. Like I'll get more into it as the season rolls on.
well, Eric Riggs says 28 Olympics will have flag football. Just say it, but flag football is huge in other countries.
Well, the
Just
NFL
huge.
might be flag football by then.
Yeah, I mean it's gotten big here in youth program, like little kids, but like women's flag football and other flag footballs really grown. Saw where someone kicked it out of the target zone and they get the ball at the 40. No, it's the 30, I think, Zach. Yeah, it's uh I'm still on the fence. I just wish they could go. We'll just take it at the 25. I did see where they did an onside kick today, so that's still a thing. But you tell the other team, that you're doing it. At tops, we'll have 3 cards of the team not on the roster. Yeah, uh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like NFL going that route. Yeah, uh, they have new caps for the helmets. Uh, I feel like this year, for me personally, I was doing an NFL draft. It came up on me so fast this year. It felt like we went to the national and then football started like 2 week after. In my personal life, it's been just so hectic. Uh, but that is kind of uh, 30 and 40 ain't much of a difference, Zach. I was with you. It's a little ridiculous to come out to the 30 because you have a kicker that kicks
Are
it.
you excited that your boy Dak Prescott got, I think, wasn't it the largest contract in NFL history or the largest guaranteed or something like that today?
No, I haven't seen anything. I got up this morning, ate breakfast, and drove. I came
Well,
home, went to bed.
your guy got guaranteed, I'm pretty sure, like $250 million today. So
Yeah, that does not excite me because the NFL big contracts usually don't work.
well, at least they gave it to him and not to Deshaun Watson because it ain't looking too good for Watson.
Right. I just hope NFL players opt into the Olympic flag football dream team. Yeah, at least the ex NFL players. That would be because I know some of the ex ones are playing in NFL leagues or something, or flag leagues, adult flag leagues. So that would be interesting to watch, or interesting to hear about. I don't watch much of the Olympics, but yeah. So there's I'm looking forward to some of the new product for football to hit the because I'm interested in some of the players this year. I think there's some decent players out here, some rookies making a splash today, or at least good or bad splashes. belly flops or dives. I don't know what to say, but I do want to pick up some of my Cowboys, my Mike, my Mika, and before he's not a Cowboy anymore. Because if they gave that to Dak, they're not going to be able to afford him or the offensive lineman. So that's where it hurts. But I don't know. Are you looking forward to any of the NFL product that comes out this year, Mike? Or
I mean, I haven't bought a. Well, that's not true. I do have one box of Score coming, so I'll break that on camera most likely, and then do a sale, and then list the remainders on eBay. And that's a cheaper product, but I don't go crazy with the football anymore. Like I'm definitely intrigued by Topps brand products coming out, but it's still going to be a couple years till we get the full effect, and the prices are going to continue to go up. So I don't know how affordable hobby will be. So sometimes I'll do a little bit of retail, but
yeah, I tend to do more vintage football because I like the 70s and early 80s Cowboys. That's where I usually are at. I get some Troy Aikman, as you well know, and the triplets or players from that time frame at least. Bates, Novacek, but like I've always said, I always get upset because they don't. To me, they too picky and choosy on who they're going to make. They don't make enough of the whole team for me in football like they do baseball. So that's where they kind of lose me at a little bit, football, and just the cards themselves lost me a long time ago opening packs. So I went to singles in football a long time ago. So that's where I'm at with that. But I'm always excited for new product, whatever it is, just to see what and I looked at some of the new, tennis chrome just to see what it looked like, just to see what they were doing with that. And, but I get excited. I'm waiting for update to come out because I really want Skeens. So I want his flagship rookie. That to me is the rookie card, the flagship rookie. Again, putting on my Victor hair tonight. Slick it back. The prettiest hair on the YouTubes. I'm looking for that card. So waiting for my boy to get some of that in. Anything you want to add before we take off tonight?
no, I mean, we'll just see where the hobby goes. Busy part of the year. Baseball winding down. You'll see some of the stats wrap up. What guys do? Does Judge get another hot streak? Does he get to 60 home runs? How does Ohtani finish? It looks like he's pending health. Looks like he might get to 50-50. So, and then of course these teams reach into playoffs, and I always look forward to playoff baseball. With the Phillies being in it the last couple of years, that's even more excitement for me. They've at least, the last 2 days they got destroyed, but they've been playing pretty well finally. Though the health has not been great, not been ideal for this part of the year, and then football getting going. So there's a lot of exciting stuff going on in sports and the hobby, new products. I look forward to update as well for a few reasons. I think Paul Skeen's base stuff and then his parallels it'll be exciting just to watch people be excited about that. And then I always look forward to simple stuff like what Phillies are going to be in that base set, just so I can add.
So Jackson Merrill should have a numbered card in that, right? A regular base card. Am I right? Am I thinking wrong? Was Jackson Merrill unnumbered in second edition?
Yeah, no, he had a short print parallel. Like he had a short print. Him, Holiday, and Wyatt Langford all had short prints SP, so they should all have base cards.
Okay.
As part
to
of
me,
the
that's
set.
that.
So yeah, I mean, Update's going to have a lot of fun players. I think it'll be fun, and guess what? It's at least affordable. If you want to break a box, you'll be able to do it. Also, obviously, and still the better route to go is singles. But those guys having base cards, should be very affordable singles. They get a little pricier with some of the color parallels for certain players, but even Jackson Merrill, like he's probably going to win Rookie of the Year, but some of his parallels, really low numbered stuff, I think will be pretty pricey. But
took one off his knee the other night.
You'll get some deals on some of his stuff. Langford doesn't really get,
and we get Jackson,
a ton of notoriety.
We get a couple of Jacksons in the play. I think we got all 3 Jacksons in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, Churio's been like he's super underrated in the hobby right now. Again, rookie, who knows what's going to happen, but he's had like an outrageous second half. Like he struggled early, and he was like super hot out of spring training, and then boom, he gets forgotten. And we'll see if he can do it on the big stage. That's where things could play out. The Brewers get hot. You never know.
That's right. So, and I just wanted. Eric brings up another great point. Prove to me that Skeens is not another Matt Harvey. We'll never know until that we get to that point, right? But I also bought Matt Harvey rookie cards, so and I'm proud to have them because he was the Black Knight for a while. And
if you love Paul Skeens and you're having fun, I think it's fun, and you should buy some of his rookie cards. Do I think it would be smart to go buy black chrome autos for $10,000? I think it would be a very.
I want his base rookie. That's it.
I wouldn't even buy his autograph. I would wait to buy his autographs personally, but teach their own, of course. But the base or lower stuff. I mean, you're having fun in the moment, enjoying it. So
I just want to have something to remember. Look, even if he blows his arm, and I don't want to put it back out in the universe. If his season is short and his career for whatever reason, I remember he had a great rookie year, and he was awesome at LSU. I would love to have an LSU card of him in the draft if they got it in Panini draft, but I wouldn't pay crazy for it. So, but we'll leave you with that for this week. A great episode. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Awesome. Keeping me on my toes. Love it. Mike, thank you for coming on, taking the time. I 100% appreciate it. What's up, Clay? And again, thanks to everyone that came on live tonight, chose to watch this program. And thank you for watching it in the archives. Thank you for choosing and sticking along this far. Please subscribe if you haven't. Leave any remarks down below, good, bad, indifferent. Tell me where I'm missing a mark, and I'll be happy to talk about it on another show. Great. Anything that you wanted to have discussed, please let me know down below, or any thoughts you have. Awesome. Good, bad, or indifferent. I'm very thick skinned. My doctor says I'm big bone. But anyway, till next time, see ya.
Peace.